recording's in progress. I think our karma is in progress.
We have a new logo. It was right behind Vinnie. That is New York Vinnie, and he's in Seattle, Washington.
Let me get out of the way here for a second so you can.
There you go. How beautifully done. Facebook Live.
Here for a second so you can.
There you go. Are we still on YouTube? Facebook Live.
Here for a second so you can. Yeah, Facebook Live. We're on YouTube.
Are we still on YouTube?
We're not live on YouTube. I haven't quite figured out yet how to make that happen. We can do both at the same time. And we also need to figure out, and how to get it onto our Mikey and Vinnie page, which is our Michael Knight New York Vinnie actual page that we have, and I haven't figured that out quite yet, but I will.
And there's Vinnie in his red hat because he's red for what? Red for
nothing in particularly today.
Albert Pujols going back to the Cardinals.
Yeah, that's a nice story, isn't it?
I just like it that he's not a Dodger anymore.
Well, yeah, I like it that he's not a Dodger, but the only reason he can go back to the Cardinals is why?
Designated hitter.
Yep. And I'm a little I don't know. I'm still not over, and I don't think I'm gonna be over.
If you just tuned in, DH is not Vinnie's thing, nor is the Smokey Burgess rule about starting the extra innings at second with a man at second base. If that man is Smokey Burgess,
he could be Estes Keyfowler, and I wouldn't like it. I mean, it doesn't have to be Smokey Burgess. Nothing against Smokey. Matter of fact, a guy with the name like Smokey, I have like lots of Smokies throughout life. Smokey Stover, always was a big fan of that comic strip.
I don't know Smokey Stover.
Oh yeah, it was probably in the 50s, 60s, maybe it was even in the 40s, and it was about this kind of wacky fireman kind of guy, and they ended every last panel of every comic said Notary Sojak, which I've still never figured out or bothered to look to see what it means. Let me see if I can bring up a picture of Smokey Stover, but
Smokey Stover. No, don't know that. I know the Katzenjammer Kids and Smokey and Snuffy Smith, but I don't know Smokey Stover.
Goodness gracious, I'm bodacious. That's the Snuffy Smith song. Goodness gracious, I'm a fraud. Goodness gracious, I'm bodacious, and I'm chop away at all of my might, or something like that. Oh man! So how are you, Michael?
I'm better off than Ma was when Smokey and Snuffy Smith were home playing cards. Smokey Burgess, Snuffy Smith playing cards, and Ma had to make dinner. That's a scene that you don't want to witness.
Yeah, you don't want to be in the middle of that one. Smokey Stover. Let's get an image up here for those of you who. It was a comic book, and then. I knew there was a tie. They used to call him Smokey Stover, the Foo Fighter.
The Foo Fighter, F-O-O?
F-O-O, fighter, the Foo Fighter, and I believe that is where, if I'm not mistaken, they got the name of the band.
Yeah, from the old term for UFOs.
Yeah, I knew there was a tie in here somewhere. Let's see if I can get this to do something for us here. But Smokey Stover. Let's see. Let's save image to download. Let's do that. And now we have it there. So maybe we can. I'm learning this, Michael, as we go along.
Perfectly acceptable.
Oh, Lordy. Someday I'm going to get this perfect, Michael. So you're okay. You're past the Will Smith debacle.
I heard read, I should say, his apology. and it's late, and he's not right, which apparently a lot of people think is, hey, you insult a black man's wife. What can you expect? Please don't give me any of that.
Yeah, that's just that
That's
kind
just
of.
that's just nonsense. You're at the Oscars, you big idiot. Have a
Yeah,
drink and sit down.
I really.
Look at your gift bag. What did you get in your gift bag that'll make you happy? Did you get a moisturizer or something? Try that. Try just, but please, first and foremost, sit down and shut up. And I don't want to see Will Smith for a while.
Yeah, let's see if I can make this come
I
across.
would, however, love to see the first thing that Chris Rock says when he makes his next appearance.
I think he has an appearance this weekend. I think he's at a club. If I were Chris Rock, first thing I would do is I would have two huge bouncers on stage the whole time.
Yeah, come and get me.
Yeah. Just in case Will Smith shows up.
He's got that fast first step.
Yeah. I'm protected. How many cameras do you think will be at Rock's appearance?
Oh, there's going to be quite a bit of coverage for the rest of his career. He'll be known for this.
Yeah, and again, what I said Monday really over the last 2 days has hit home even harder, is that people are so much more attracted to the punch or the slap than the most beautiful moment in the Oscars in a long time, which was Lady Gaga and Liza Minnelli.
Well, their timing was, their act was wonderful. Their timing was off because everything else got swept aside with the controversy. And there's nothing you can do about that.
Yeah.
But it's given, I don't know if anyone who didn't know Liza Minnelli is going to become a fan of hers, but I think what is going to happen is Lady Gaga is going to gain a lot of appreciation and curiosity, and more people will find out who she is.
Yeah, I can't imagine that there's many people in the world that don't know, not in the world, I guess, but many people that don't know who Lady Gaga is. You think?
Yeah, I think there's a lot of people that saw that show who are movie freaks that probably have never even heard one of her songs. It's just the nature of the world.
Well, she was up. Did she get nominated for an Academy Award
She
for A
won.
Star Is Born? She won it, right?
She won it.
Yeah, she won it. So, I mean, because I don't have that encyclopedical knowledge of the Oscars like many do. So, yeah, I mean, I don't know if what it says for me, the beauty of what she does is she shows me that there's respect, humanity, humbleness, and a sense of somebody who realizes who came before her and honors that.
And you know, that the lack of that happens way too often in sports, where you find young ball players coming up and they're playing in the big leagues and they're on the Cincinnati Reds of all places, and they have no idea who used to play for that team, or no idea who Red Shadings was, no idea who Sandy Koufax
Morgan,
was.
Dave Concepcion.
Name all the great players from the 60s, and the fact that they don't know them is one thing, but that they don't have any curiosity to find out who those great players were, I don't understand. I can't understand it.
Well, in many years of covering baseball, Michael, we both covered baseball for a long time, and curiosity for me is not something that most players have. It's, their lives are about going out there and hitting the ball and making money and, doing what they do in the clubhouse. But there's not a lot of, I don't know.
Not a lot of intellectual curiosity.
Yeah. I mean, the only guy I ever really saw who had the biggest curiosity about different players and stuff was Ichiro. he had, I mean, on his off day, he took a couple of times. He took a ride up to the Baseball Hall of Fame when they went up to when they were in New York. Um, he had a true curiosity and appreciation of the people that came before him. He knew who George Sisler was when he broke George Sisler's record.
Interesting.
As a matter of fact, the family was there. People from George Sisler's, George held the record for most base hits in a season, and Ichiro broke that. And Sisler's family was there. I think he or somebody from the Mariners, but certainly Ichiro had a part in it.
How many hits? How many hits about was that?
Boy, was it 287, I think, or something like that? I forget the exact number. I think it was in the 280s, if I'm not mistaken. And he had a true sense of that. There's a Stan Javier was another guy I covered, and that's because his father, of course, was Julian Javier. And I remember I have a Mets program from 1962 from the first baseball game I ever went to. I still have the program. And in the program is his father was playing that day. And in a lineup card, the scorecard, that's what I was trying to say. I have him written down of what he did that day and everything. And, my father and I scored it. And I remember I almost saw like tears coming into his eyes when I showed it to him. Wow. I brought it in with me one day to the clubhouse. I said, hey, I don't know if you're interested in this or not. And he was talking to me a little bit about the history. So I think the guys that maybe grew up in families where baseball was played, or their fathers or something, their predecessors, certainly, Barry Bonds for Willie Mays and Willie McCovey, and but Willie was his godfather.
My father played second base and he wore glasses. Julian Javier played second base and he wore glasses. My father pointed him out to me. He says, "That guy, see that guy right there? He looks like a ball player." Everything that Julian Javier did was okay with my dad because he played the infield beautifully. He had a long career. He could hit. He was cagey. He was fast. He had all the elements of an infielder that you would want. And he played for a long time. And totally appealed to my father that someone would play the game like it should be played and look like a ball player besides. Look like he was at work. Look like he was doing what he should be doing. And he wore glasses, so all the better.
Yeah, another guy like that was Roy McMillan.
Yeah, of course. Long career.
Shortstop who wound up on the Mets, but played a long time for the Braves, I believe.
And the Reds too, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think he was with the Reds for a while. Yeah, I think he was. But again, he was and wound up being a manager of the Mets for a short time. But he was another guy who had, when I was a kid, I wore glasses, so I was naturally attracted to those players. As a matter of fact, somewhere on my Facebook page many years ago, I put up my all glasses team.
Yeah.
And they were, and in those days, again, to wear glasses, you were ostracized. You were, you were less than. You were certainly, they didn't have the type of glasses. It's the only thing that they had was shatterproof lenses.
They didn't have the cool goggles that you can wear now.
Yeah, they didn't have the goggles. They didn't have the, if you got hit in the face, you got you probably got a piece of metal in your face somewhere. But that's the price you paid if you wanted to play wearing glasses. And it happened to me a couple of times when I was playing Little League. Yeah.
Didn't Rusty Staub wear glasses at the plate?
Boy, I think maybe later in his career he may have. I don't remember. I vaguely remember maybe he did late in his career.
There's a guy who never looked like a ball player. He didn't walk like a ball player, didn't stand like a ball player, didn't look like a ball player at first base. But in his sleep, he could just walk up and get a hit off anybody in any league.
He was phenomenal, man. I had the pleasure of watching him play for a number of years, and he was, there are certain guys, I mean, a guy like Rusty Staub must be looking down from heaven and looking at these guys complaining about their shift and just laughing his belly off.
You can't hit the right field. I can't help you, baby.
Yeah,
Where do you
I mean, this
where do you want
guy
me to hit
who,
it?
he hit the ball wherever he needed to hit the ball to get a base hit. It's all about bat control. It's all about putting the ball, picking the right pitch, bat control, knowing the pitcher, knowing what he's going to throw you so you can react to it. Another guy like that was Brett Butler.
Yeah.
Another guy who was unbelievable. And there's also famous guys like Ricky Henderson and people like that. But Brett Butler, man, I mean, that guy could drag bunt better than just about anybody you ever saw.
He used to drive me crazy when he played for the Giants because he was part of the post-game show. And every night he said, "We're going to have to put this one behind us." I said, "We're going to have to start winning a few games so we don't have to put them behind it. We're putting all our games behind us. We're putting the whole experience. We're putting the whole league and the whole season behind us. Putting the whole experience behind us. Please
That's
put
a lot
it behind."
of junk in the trunk to put behind you, pal.
That was his thing. I said, "Here it comes. Here it comes." "Well, Bob, it didn't turn out the way we wanted. We'll have to put this one behind us." You mean like last night's game? Yeah.
Oh, man. Smokey Stover, the Foo Fighter. I love it. And he had this, Smokey was a fireman, by the way, and he had this little fire engine that just had two wheels.
You only need, if you have the right, I guess if they're in the right place, that's all you need.
Yeah, and you got two wheels. That's all. Smokey Stover. I'll put it up on our Facebook. I can't seem to get it to work. I mean, I could probably play with it, but I can't get it to do what I want it to do right now.
I think it saved the entire page instead of just the logo.
Yeah. So what do you think? I mean, there's now talk about the Academy doing something to Will Smith. What do you think's going to happen? Ban him from the Oscars for a year?
Well,
take away his Oscar?
As Ken Levine says, there's a guy who's never going to win anything again ever. So his career was on an upward swing. He won the SAG Award, he won the Independent Award, he won the Academy Award. And instead of it being a good thing, it was all turned out to be a bad thing. So Denzel Washington gave him the truth. He just didn't tell him fast enough. When you're at your highest, that's when the devil comes for you. Well, the devil waited and timed it perfectly. And it's all over now for Will Smith. Whereas I think Chris Rock is going to, his career is going to be great.
Yeah, Chris was perfect. Chris did.
He gave the award away. Yeah, he continued.
Yeah, he did what they say when you're working the boards. The show must go on.
That's right.
So you gather yourself up, you look around, and you keep going. Right? When we're working, if a fly goes into our mouth, what do? Spit it out and keep going, right?
Nobody cares. Keep going.
You keep going. Now,
time and temperature.
Yeah, it was, and I just hope that. I mean, I know that we always look at and I've always wondered why we look at the negative things and react to them so much more than the positive things. I mean, I saw a smattering of stuff about Lady Gaga, but there wasn't much. Meanwhile, every national news channel and CNN and even the president was asked about Will Smith.
What did he say? I didn't hear that.
They asked the usual woman wasn't there, so they had somebody else doing the press briefing, which Jen Psaki, I tune in for her every day, and it breaks my heart. But anyway, she said that the president did not watch the Academy Awards; he didn't see it. So he has no comment on it, which is probably for Joe Biden a good thing for him just not to. Don't get in the middle of that one, Joe. You got bigger fish to fry.
I saw a lot of Lady Gaga and Liza Minnelli comments on Facebook on my pages anyway.
Yeah, I saw some. I saw some.
The pages that Facebook lets me see.
Are there pages you're not allowed to see?
I think that my friend list is getting shorter and shorter.
Why is that?
I don't know.
Mikey, I'll always be your friend, Mikey.
Well, I always see your stuff.
Yeah, but no matter what, I mean, I would always be your friend.
Well, I know that, and I'll always be your friend. But
Yeah, I mean,
Facebook sometimes makes the world shrink instead of expand in a strange way.
yeah, I've noticed that there's people that I used to see. Sometimes there's people on my feed that I have no idea who they are, and
I've
that's
seen that.
me because I leave it open to the public. I mean, if you want to,
Right.
I'm an open book, literally. You want to see what's going on in my life? Knock yourself out. I got nothing to hide. Um, but I noticed that at times I see people. At times, um, I then I people I know that are posting stuff, and I don't see them for a month, 2 months, 3 months at a time.
Yeah.
So I don't know how their rhythm, their algorithm works. But it's not a Vinnie Riccici favorable rhythm. I don't think.
No, it's a weird one because you'll see the same posting from somebody that you know 3 days in a row. So we're here again. We're back to this thing again. I mean, doesn't make good sense.
Yeah, sometimes you'll turn on every post will be 15 hours or 18 hours or 20 hours old. I mean, I wonder what word is in there that says that you think that I need to see this 2-day old post 4 times. I don't know. I think it should just be a chronological timeline that whoever you're friends with post goes in there and you can look up and down and see.
Yep.
Unless
Show up in order.
right, and there should be a button there that says if somebody posts that you follow them or something, that you see their post first because whatever they're saying is important to you.
Have you seen the gas prices drop, Vinny?
No, matter of
No.
fact, they've gone up.
Now the
They're
bottom fell out of the
4.99
market.
down the corner, and I just filled up at Costco for $4.79 for regular.
I paid $1 more. I paid $5.79 the last time I filled, and the bottom fell out of the market yesterday. Is why I ask.
Right.
And it's down to less than $100 a barrel for crude. The market fell apart yesterday for oil because suddenly there's a glut, and the price fell, and the events in the Middle East and in Russia and all the places that weigh upon the pricing of the oil have become favorable to the consumer. But there's one thing in the way, and that's the oil companies. It won't lower the price. It will not lower the price. There's no reason for it to be this high. It should be $1 cheaper, and they won't do it. And so price fixing is what I'm calling for. Price controls, rather.
Well, yeah, I've been saying that for a few weeks. Is that Biden needs to step in and do a Nixon here and say gas prices are $3.50 a gallon or $3 a gallon, whatever it is, and anybody that charges higher than that goes to jail. And it stays like that for 90 days.
Or until I
profit. Well, you know what?
You'll be fine.
You'll be okay. If you make 2 billion next year instead of 2.5 billion, you'll live.
You'll be fine.
And I think he needs to do that. And I've said this since this whole thing started that you in times of emergency. I mean, if this was milk or this was something like that, we'd probably be doing it right. Where somebody would be holding a line on the price. Well, this is just as vital. Now, are you going to get a check for a stimulus check in California?
It's yet to be decided because they don't have a drawing line where if you make more than this much of money per year, you don't get the check. If you make less than that, which is me, you do get the check, and the check would be for $400, which is about 4 tankfuls. So it's not a lot. It's not. It's meant to be a stimulus check. You can buy gas with it. You can buy cheeseburgers. Nobody cares.
Right. I guess you're going to hand out debit cards, is the way I heard it was.
But what it amounts to, truthfully, is trying to determine how rich you have to be to not get the stimulus check, and they haven't come up with that yet.
Well, I don't know. I hate to always say that. Well, the rich shouldn't get anything. The rich shouldn't get anything because they have, they do a lot. For every bad rich person. There's probably a good rich person around.
Although we have no evidence of that.
We have, yes, I'm speaking now purely philosophically, not based on any fact. Remember, the show is entertainment, not not research based.
When you said that, I was entertained. The idea, in fact, just entertained me.
Yes, we have to remember that we are in this for entertainment purposes only. Please, no wagering at home.
And entertainment and information. Yeah, what do? We offer you the information, which is that the gas stimulus checks are coming. Then we add the entertainment, which is they're not coming to us because we make too much money. Now, are you entertained? Good.
See, it's simple how it works, right? People that think this life is complicated, it isn't at all, really. When you come down to it, right?
As Chris Rock will tell you, it's good to have a punchline.
He had the most literal punchline ever seen.
And apparently he said, but we did not hear it. He slapped the fuck out of me.
Well, it slapped the shit out. Yeah.
Slapped the shit out of me.
He slapped. I just got the shit slapped out of me by
that's it.
Will Smith. Well, yeah.
Greatest night in television history.
Well, certainly. Now, let me ask you this: when you saw that, was there anybody that came to mind immediately?
No.
See, I just thought about Don Rickles.
Well, he's certainly been mentioned.
I mean, he's a guy. I mean, all of the insults that he proffered on people, and I don't think I ever saw anybody get up and punch him.
It was an honor to be insulted by Don Rickles in a room full of guys at the fire club. But if it had happened one-on-one with an angry wife, who knows what might have happened?
Well, but he played those rooms in Vegas for years.
He tore them all apart.
Insulted people, standing right in front of him. And maybe somebody got up and got pissed off at him at one point. We never heard about it, but I was that's who came to my mind immediately is Don Rickles. And and again, I don't know that it was an insult against her.
It was just taken as one.
It was taken as one, but I don't know.
If you're sitting in the front row at the Oscars, prepare yourself.
Oh, yeah.
You're going to be mentioned in a number of ways.
I mean, when Amy Schumer sat down next to that guy and moved his wife out of the chair that she was sitting in, he didn't get up and slap the crap out of Amy Schumer.
And that was so awkward because it never paid off with anything. It didn't turn into a bit.
Well, probably would have been a good bit if what had happened just hadn't happened. But, at that point, nothing comedic that anybody was going to do was going to change the air in the room.
Nope.
I mean, she probably was guilty of not reading the room right, or the producers were guilty of not reading the room right and saying, hey, let's cut this bit and let's just play it straight the rest of the show. We have a fiasco on our hands.
I don't know. I know that she had the one-liner about when I was getting out of my Spider-Man outfit. Did something happen out here?
Yeah, that was good. That was kind of broke the tension in the room a little bit, which was good. But much after that, it was no longer a place for one-liners and ad-libs and stuff like that. It was a serious, especially, and I think they ended the show right. They just came out and basically played it straight.
Yep, that's how you have to do it.
Thank you for watching. Have a safe trip home. Chris Rock is on his way to Cedars of Sinai. Get his jaw checked.
He took it pretty well, actually.
Oh yeah,
seemingly.
Somebody slapped me in the face like that. I don't know. I'd have gone right down.
Makes you tear up. Ooh, that's smarts.
No, he was a stud, Chris Rock, man. He was a stud in the whole thing. And for the people who are just moaning and groaning about, oh my God, how could he say that about his wife? I mean, again, the insult wasn't directed, wasn't, I don't know. I don't even know that it was an insult again. And again, nobody's mentioned, and I think we're the only two people that are conscious of this, that again, the counter programming of the night goes to BBC for showing G.I. Jane.
G.I. Jane. And man, they got it on in a hurry. They got that sucker on in a hurry.
That was what you call quick move. Who's ever at BBC ought to get hired by NBC or ABC or CBS pretty quickly. Now on
Demi Moore must know somebody in the headquarters over there. It said, do me a favor, put on G.I. Jane. I'll tell you why later.
Yeah, I'll tell you, just put it on. Just whatever you got on, Knights of the Round Table, whatever you're showing over there.
Get it off.
Turn it off, put G.I. Jane on. You'll know about it in 5 minutes.
You'll thank me in the morning.
Yeah, believe you me, you'll be this. Let's talk about our buddy Vladimir Putin.
Well, he's busy today because he had to put aside all his responsibilities for the war and look for dirt on the Biden family, per his request from Donald Trump. Donald Trump is using this time of world concern to ask Vladimir Putin, his friend and the man he supports, and the murders he supports, and the children that have been killed and dislocated from their own country that he supports, that he applauds, that he endorses, to stop what he's doing with the Ukrainians and do something for him for a change.
Yeah.
It's been a while since Donald Trump asked for a favor, and he wants Vladimir Putin to come up with the dirt that Trump requires to beat Joe Biden in the upcoming presidential election.
What a weasel.
And I don't think Putin has responded.
Yeah, well, Putin's busy lying about where his troops are going. I mean, anybody who bought that, I mean, yesterday you'd have turned on CNN, you'd have thought the war was over.
It ain't.
Everybody was jumping up and down, giddy, the breaking story, the Russians are going to pull back their troops. They're going to do this, they're going to do that. I mean, how do you know Vladimir Putin's lying? His lips are moving.
All you have to do is find out what he says he's going to do. That's not what he's going to do. The opposite will take place probably within the day, and he'll have something else to say tomorrow. I mean, he's got a press release every day that changes the direction of the war. Every 72 hours, he's got something else he wants to do. Well, that's it. We're pulling back to the Donbass. Well, that's no more of that. Wait, we're firing rockets into Lviv.
Yeah.
Okay, we've got the capital surrounded. You can surrender. Wait, we're pulling back to reconsider our position. No. Whatever he says he's doing, it's the opposite. Period.
Yeah, it's
just
really,
like Donald Trump.
Yeah, how do you believe? Well, you know what? The more and more I watch all of this stuff, the more and more I see that Putin and Trump are pretty much the same person.
Same guy, two men, one brain.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard. You could see where, why Trump adores him so much is because he lies, and he gets away with it.
And he lies every day.
It's not truth. It's what I say is truth.
Yep.
And the one thing that hit when I saw the stuff about Hunter Biden, in case anybody hasn't seen it, I guess the Justice Department is now reactivating or stepping up according to reports, their inquiries, their investigation on Hunter Biden's involvement in the Ukraine and his consultancies there, which I have no problem with. Here's where I do have the problem, though. We spend so much time investigating this and investigating that, investigating this, that nothing ever gets done in this country. If we put the energy into doing the things that this country needs instead of investigating people, my God, what could we get done? We could get millions of things done.
Well, the legal cases that should be brought by our government, that the Justice Department should be looking into, related to January 6th and also the alleged crimes committed by our 45th president, are being left by the wayside so they can do this trumped up investigation of the Biden family. And if you want to investigate the Bidens tit for tat, let's have a couple of Trump investigations to go along with it,
Well,
because
I think
he's the one that endangered the future of democracy and the transfer of power. And if there's no crime committed there, if there's no penalty to be paid there, then we're going to have another revolution, and there won't be a Justice Department. And all those guys in suits can say, "What did we do wrong? What you did
right.
wrong was you did nothing when we needed you to do something."
And we'll all be living in Costa Rica or Argentina or somewhere far away from here because
In,
this is
In
such a
California
mess.
will look like Ukraine.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, that's it. Just we just spend so much time investigating in this country and tying up our valuable resources because, and again, why do people investigate other people? Because they want to get notoriety. They want clips for their campaign stuff. They want to raise money. That's why these investigations come out for the most part. There's nobody sitting there saying, well, if Hunter Biden, um, got a job in the lobbying for the Ukraine government, um, you know, uh, hundreds of people died because of that. Or, you know, or if this person, that person, thousands of people. No. Now, when you look at Trump, you can say to yourself very easily that 400,000 of the 800,000 people that are dead because of COVID probably could lay on Trump's front door because of his inaction and his lies.
And the Russian interference with the elections, you can lay on his door.
Right.
And the lies that have been foisted on Americans, idiots, the average American idiot that believes that the election was fraudulent, and the raft of laws taking away personal rights from women, from gays, from anybody that's on the books in the elections to come all across the country, where hate and dissatisfaction and fear of white guys, angry white evangelical people are leading the way to the negative vote. You want a no vote, you got to give them something to vote against, and they're voting against all those elements of society that have already been approved and passed by common sense and the majority of Americans, but now they're being revisited by the angry Republican Party to the point where that's all they stand for: hate, misgivings, chaos, and, if possible, the overthrow of the government.
Yeah, it's and I don't see it. I listen to people like Will Hurd, the former congressman and CIA agent. He has a new book out, um, and I don't see people like him. And I may not agree with his positions, but I do think that he is someone who has a moderate mindset. It's probably why he's not in Congress anymore. Look at Kitzinger. I look at Cheney. I look at the moderate Republicans. Now everybody's pissed off at what's her name from Maine this morning, Susan
Collins,
because she said she's going to vote for Jackson for the Supreme Court. So now they're probably going to look to throw her out of the party.
And she's so funny about it because she has to placate a Republican friends. I don't agree with her. I don't like her. I'm with everybody in that regard. I just trust her, so I'm going to vote for her.
Yeah, well, listen,
but I don't like her. Just understand, I don't like her. I don't like her. Oh, I don't like her.
Nobody can just stand up and say, you know what, I like her. I think she's going to do a fine job. I don't care, Republican, Democrat, whatever. I'm going to vote for her because she's competent. She's smarter than most of the 535 people sitting in this chamber on both sides.
And she's more fun than Clarence Thomas.
And she looks like, she's done more already in her life than most of the people in this building. So I'll tell you what, I'm going to vote for her. I don't care if she's a Democratic nominee, a Republican nominee, or what kind of nominee she is. That's it. That's all. But this little dog and pony show to Ted Cruz and Caulfield and some of these other people have put on.
Well, Ted puts on a show every time he puts on his pants, and he's a mess. He's just an embarrassment as a human being. The fact that he's a senator from Texas makes it all the more comical, makes it all the more ridiculous, makes it all the more damaging, makes it all the more painful. But there he is, stuck in our midst. We must please get rid of. What would be wrong with getting rid of Ted Cruz? Can't we move the weapons that are needed to Oklahoma and bring them across the border so the Texans can do this themselves? So that's what we do in Ukraine.
They had a chance to get rid of him. What was it?
And they didn't.
Beto ran against them 2 years ago.
Yep.
And it was a close one, but Cruz. It's tough to beat the incumbent. Now Beto
he cuddled up with Donald Trump and got the votes he needed.
Yeah. What office is Beto running for now? Beto.
Governor.
He's running for governor now. Probably doesn't have much of a prayer. I don't know. Maybe he does. I don't know. Texas is weird. It's a weird state. It's changing. It's evolving. All these people from California moving there, which the Texans I don't think like all that much.
Well, then institute your state tax. They'll be out of there in no time.
What is it about you Californians, man? How come when you move to states, people all of a sudden get uptight?
Well, I happen to be a Californian, but
many of
the people who live here live in California, but are not Californians. They just come along to get to get heavy, to breathe in the vibes.
Soak up the sun, yeah.
And they're the first ones to say, "Well, that's it for this dump. I'm forgetting about it. We're going to Arkansas." And I would say, "Well, when can you be gone? Because we need your house."
Yeah.
We need your parking spot. So get as they say in Arkansas. People who want to move to Montana, people who want to move to the great state of Washington. It's a good place to live. It's different. It's cheaper, but it ain't California.
I don't think
if this is what you don't want, then you should not be here, because that's all we have is California. We have a lot of it.
I don't think it's that much cheaper anymore, Michael. I think it's pretty bizarre how much it. I mean, you buy a house up here, you're paying pretty much what you pay in California. It's now, there's a lot nicer beaches down there and a lot nicer real estate, which even perplexes me more as to why it's jumped up. But there's it's proof that there's too much money in the world when little box houses are going for $900,000 and $1 million.
And people come to California and they move here and they're from someplace else. They're from Ohio, or they're from Tennessee, and they're troubled by the fact that it's wide open. It's open. It's progressive. It's happening. There's people here from all over the world. Name a country, anywhere, any country. There's people from that country, not just in California, but they're right here in Los Angeles with me. And if you come to Southern California for Disneyland and you're from another part of the state, you're surrounded by 40 million people. There's a lot of folks in this place. A lot of us are here. There's a lot of competition for everything. There's a lot of lifestyle that confuses the easily confused. And they just go, whew, that California. Every place you go, you're in California. You can't get out of California if you stay in California. There's just so much of it. It goes forever. The mountains, the deserts, the cities, and the sea. It's all here. And if it's too much for you, and it is for some, then they have to leave. They have to go to Texas, where things are simple but more dangerous.
And I find that it's so enchanting about the state. I mean, that's the thing I loved about when I moved to California. Yeah, there were things about New York that I missed, but there was also so many things that New York didn't have. The mellowness, the peacefulness of life.
Yep.
And again, I'm talking now the 80s and where it was a lot different, the 70s, where, now if you're in San Francisco, there's not that much difference between San Francisco and New York anymore. As a matter of fact, in some respects, New York is better. where I
I
always
think that New York has a more vibrant downtown right now. I think San Francisco's um, bleeding during the pandemic was to the detriment of downtown San Francisco. It's still a ghost town in a lot of ways.
yeah, yeah. Well, so are parts of New York though too, Michael. Now, I mean, it's come back to a certain degree, but there's still, traffic and stuff like that is still not to what it was up to what it was pre pandemic levels.
Well,
Um,
when I look around Pasadena, I see so many empty storefronts in the big shopping districts. Lake Avenue, Old Town Pasadena, Colorado Boulevard, empty store after empty store, not just little ones, but big empty places. So many restaurants closed down. I would say that in Old Town Pasadena, where Tiffany's is and all the restaurants are, and where you would go to get sushi, and where everybody goes before and after Rose Bowl games, over a quarter of the place is shut down. It's just not there anymore. The restaurants are closed. The sunglass shop is closed. The Hawaiian restaurant is closed. And they have not come back. They have not come back. And I don't know how much of this translates to the rest of the nation, but I see it in my own neighborhoods that the storefronts are boarded up.
I know I see it in New York, where friends of mine tell me that things still aren't even close to being back to normal, and
Nope.
I know that in downtown Seattle is a ghost town at night. You don't, I mean, people go in, they go to the symphony or they go to the theater and they get right the hell back out again. They don't
You
go
know,
to, I don't think they're stopping in restaurants and eating. I don't think they're spending time walking around the city. I don't think they're going down to the waterfront and walking around, even though it's, vastly improved from what it used to be.
and we got it in our head, Vinny. Don't go out. Don't go out. Don't mix. Don't get into a crowd. Don't do it. What?
Yeah.
There's no upside. There's only a downside. Don't live your life like that. Go home.
Don't talk to people that
Nope.
this picture has been painted, and listen, rightly so. I mean, but if you go out at night, if you go downtown at night, you're asking for trouble. It's
Yep.
dangerous. And in Seattle's case, it's being painted up and joined up with the notion that there's not enough cops.
Oh yeah, because they had to fire him because they wouldn't take the shot.
Well, not just that, is that because of everything that happened around the Black Lives Matter protests here, a lot of cops quit. I forget if it was a quarter of the force or something ridiculous number like that. Just either took retirement or said, "That's it. I'm going to work for the UW campus police."
I thought we could run the streets. We're the cops with the sticks and the guns, but they have sticks and guns too. So where's the fun in that? Now it's just a fight. I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
I like it. I like it when we're in charge.
So I think
And
that I think that that's brought upon a fear, along with a lot of the right wing, people who will look at Seattle and say it's, just like Portland, and say, gee, the whole downtown is on fire. Oh my God, it's when it's a block or 2 block area.
they'll pull you from your car and you'll be beaten by teenage kids.
Yeah, you don't want to be downtown. Now again, there's some of that going on, but there's some of it that goes on here too, up in the trendy Tony suburbs. I mean, there was carjacking up here, right up the corner the other night. Guy's waiting for a light. Some guy goes over, pulls him out of his car, and takes off in his brand new car.
Keep your door locked, folks, when you're at a stoplight.
It's so. I mean, I think there's a fear about people. I think you're exactly right. There's a fear in people that says, I don't
Don't
know
go
if I
out.
want to take a chance out there. If I'm
No.
going to take a chance out there, maybe I'm going to go down to the gun store first and buy a gun and keep it with me.
You want to try this new Italian place? Let's get it to go. Okay.
Yeah.
Call them, order on the app, and let's get out of here.
I'll bet you that a lot of these, Uber Eats and DoorDash and stuff like that, I bet you their business hasn't gone down.
No, their business is put in place by the pandemic.
Yeah. I mean, they made a ton of money off of the pandemic, and I think it's going to stay that way for a while until people feel confident that they can go out again.
So fill up your tank, because this will be your last chance to help out the oil companies with their Christmas bonuses.
Right.
Fill your tank. Make sure that you pay at the pump over $5 if you can find it, so that the poor oil companies have something to give to their loyal employees when Yuletide rolls around. Do your part for America. Be
Look
gouged.
for the highest price you can. If you see, as a matter of fact, if you see gas at just $5.50 a gallon, pull into the manager of that gas station and say,
"Where's your balls? How about $6?"
Yeah. What you got no gumption? Get some gumption. Crank that number up.
I lost my ladder. I can't change the price. It's really $6.15. Well, we got a deal.
It's funny because in New York, when I was growing up, there was a law against posting the price of gasoline.
Whoa.
Yeah, the only place if you look at old pictures in New York, the only place you see a price on a gas station is on the gas pump itself. There's a card that was on top of the gas pump, and it couldn't be more than, I think it was 2 or 3 inches.
Why couldn't they do the price, I wonder?
Because they didn't want gas wars. They didn't want price cutting wars. They used to be, you'd have 5, 6, 7 gas stations together, and so everybody'd start cutting the price. By a penny or 2 cents. And they didn't want that. You couldn't advertise the price of gasoline.
Isn't that strange? I never knew that.
Yeah, you couldn't advertise it. I don't think it was till maybe close to the 80s that those numbers, that you could finally post the price of gasoline on on one of those signs where you would change the numbers.
I never knew that.
We never had those signs. It was just what was on top of the pump, and that was it. It had to be, all the signs had to be the same in all the gas stations.
You didn't know if you wanted to pay that price till you pulled in.
Yeah, you had to pull in to see it.
Wow.
As a matter of fact, there used to be a gas station chain a long time ago. It was a gasoline only. They repairs. They were called Safeway. And there were stations all over the place, clean white stations. They had 100 gas pumps in the station, and gas attendants. And in New York City, they had to change their name to Safeway.
Wow.
Because they said that the name of the gas station indicated that gasoline was cheaper than another gas station.
Wow. Tough laws in New York.
It was a fascinating time in gasoline retailing in New York, because you just couldn't, there were just so many laws around what you could, you could charge what you wanted to charge. Nobody said if you wanted to charge 50 cents a gallon when everybody else was charging 23.9, you could do that, but you couldn't advertise it.
Wow.
Just,
I remember the first time I saw 50-cent gas, and I refused to buy it. I drove to another place on fumes. I drove to another place. I ended up having to pay 50 cents anyway.
I think 50 cents was probably the first time I saw it was in 73, I guess, when the first gas
and it finally went up to $1.
Yeah, the first gas embargo, first gas shortage, the Arab embargo started. I think that was the first time I saw gas at that price.
Yeah.
50 cents. And of course, my father was smart enough that he sold his gas station just before the embargo.
Just before they started fighting to get gas at the pump.
Exactly. Just before. Oh, well, my God.
Who do I look like to you today? Do I look like myself?
Yeah.
Well, I'm not. I'm in fact the Commodore. and I must go. Be the
Oh, it's
Commodore.
Commodore time.
I'm on call. Commodore and Tutu are going to make a visit to Farrell Valley and see the children, Kennedy Quinn and Boaster. And I will do my part to keep my body together so I can keep up with the 6-year-old.
Well, tell everybody I said hello and how you doing. And Uncle Vinny says what's happening.
They always
And
want to know what Uncle Vinny's up to.
yeah, and then and I also, before we go, want to wish a very happy birthday to my nephew and my godson Daniel in Sacramento, who is just ripping up the baseball field these days.
Hey,
And
Daniel, happy birthday. Get a hit. Get a hit.
get a hit, Daniel. And all right, so we will reconvene on Friday morning at 10 o'clock if the Lord's will and the creek don't rise.
10 past, it'll be a freaky Fractures Friday, and I wouldn't miss it for anything, Vinny.
I wouldn't either, because if you and I miss it, it won't be here.
It won't be. Then you'll miss it too, folks. Yeah.
Hey, remember, peace, love, and Manischewitz, baby.
What a wine.